The Honda Passport has such a weird history. In the early 90s, it was actually built by Subaru and Isuzu in Indiana. Now, Subaru still has that plant there in Indiana, and Isuzu, well, they're still doing business in other parts of the world, still make pretty good trucks. Before Honda settled on the name Passport, they actually considered calling it the Odyssey, which we now know eventually became their minivan name. Now, the Honda badged Isuzu Rodeo only lasted in the first generation about 4 years until 97. And then they got a second generation and it lasted all the way until 2002. So it had nearly a decade run and then it disappeared with the disappearance of Isuzu here in America. And yes, they even had 5-speed manuals on this in the early generations. And then it was crickets. From 2002 to 2019, so 17-year hiatus, the Passport returned. No longer as a body-on-frame, old school truck-like SUV. It now was unibody, like a shrunk down Honda Pilot, you could say. And it has the same bones very much as the Odyssey and the Ridgeline pickup truck. And Honda was wise to bring this vehicle out because before the pandemic, yes, off-roading was kind of an exciting thing, but they've always marketed the Passport as an off-road adventure vehicle. And then after the pandemic, just a year after this vehicle came out, that's when this vehicle really had a better market to sell to as people wanted to get out of the house, be more adventurous, and explore the outdoors and have their own passport into lands unknown. So we're going to talk about the new Passport today. It is coming out next year, 2025, and Honda's given us the first teasers of this mid-size crossover that slots between the CR-V, their best-selling vehicle, and their excellent Honda Pilot. Sits right between them as kind of a middle ground for smaller families. I also kind of see the Passport as similar to maybe a Subaru Forester competitor, except with a hell of a lot more power. So I can't wait to get into this. Let's just read it. And if you guys are excited, smash the like button, subscribe for more. And we're going to do a lot of breakdown of the teasers that we have today. And I don't think this is going to be the last teaser from Honda. We have about a half of a year to go. So something like this, I wouldn't be surprised if it's revealed at the LA Auto Show. But anyways, like I said, let's get into it. Development of the next-gen Passport Trailsport, the most adventure-ready and capable Honda SUV yet, is underway. Now, the Passport Trailsport came out, I think, in 2022. Yes, just confirming 2022, we got the Trailsport. With a truly rugged design, authentic off-road capability, next-level versatility, and innovative features, that's a very long run-on sentence, and it's still going. The 2026 Passport is set for arrival early next year. Signaling a new appetite for big adventures, the teaser previews the Passport's unique front fascia with Passport boldly embossed across the fascia under the upper grille, which means there's also going to be a lower grille, which means, of course, it's not going to be an EV. And the new TrailSport-exclusive signature amber daytime running lights. I think they're onto something here, and I'll talk more about that as we get into it. But that's all they have. They just kind of have a little write-up about Honda after that. So let's get into the teasers. First, let's get into the video. So I actually have DaVinci Resolve pulled up. This is my editing software, a little behind the scenes. I'm going to go ahead and play this video for you. And I think the audio, I'll go ahead and put the audio. I don't think there's anything, I'll go ahead and put my headphones on so I can listen with you. I don't think there's anything cryptic in the audio other than just some, hype sounds. So let's go ahead and play it. All right, we don't need to listen to any more of the hype music. That's done. We didn't hear any engine sounds or anything special there. We have some camouflage of the Passport Trailsport, and I brought up an image of a Pilot right next to it. And I honestly think it's going to be very Pilot-esque. Once again, it's going to be on the new platform. There are only two vehicles in Honda and Acura's lineup that are on this new platform. the excellent MDX. Watch my 2025 refresh driving impressions. And there's also this Pilot that's on that new platform as well, their large vehicle platform. That's mainly a USA-based platform anyways. And they're all going to be built in Alabama. This Passport's built in Alabama. The MDX is different. Acura builds that in Ohio. But check this out. Let's go ahead and see what we have. And I did my best to match up the Pilot size off of this small image that we have of the Passport. And honestly, the A-pillar, the mirror, the front windows, maybe even the back windows are going to be very, very near identical, if not identical. Door handles, I mean, like the outgoing Pilot and outgoing Passport, they're very difficult to tell apart, especially from the front. But the side, you can always see the Passport's a little bit more cropped compared to the old gen Pilot. I think the new Passport will take a lot from this Pilot. Obviously, they're going to share the same platform and same technology, same engine, transmission is what I'm expecting. So we zoom out into the TrailSport logo, and the TrailSport logo then goes straight into the grille, the upper grille of the vehicle. Here's our first teaser image of the new Passport. And the amber lights, bravo. I love the idea of amber lights. They're underused in our market. And here's an example of them having a really good fan appreciation. The Kia Telluride in its first generation had amber lights that people really, really enjoyed. With the refresh on it, they killed them, and a lot of people were disappointed because it took away its identity. Honda's like, hey, we kind of like what Kia was doing there. I don't know if they actually said this, but this is how I see it. Like, hey, we like what Kia is doing there, and look at the amount of success and good things that people have to say about those amber headlights, or should I say daytime running lights. And Honda has brought it here on the Passport. Now, it looks pretty macho from the front. This looks like a hood scoop. Are we going to have a hood scoop on the Passport? If that's not a hood scoop, I don't know what is. All right, so we're going to have a hood scoop that is not seen on the Pilot. Now, the TrailSport here may come with this hood scoop, and it wouldn't surprise me if you couldn't get it as a factory option anyways on the non-TrailSport models. All right, we kind of have these elongated honeycomb things. That's been a theme for Honda with their designs interior and exterior. And then, of course, we have the Passport lettering that they described for us in the press release. All right, it looks pretty boxy, honestly, from the sides. And it says early 2025. I don't know if it said that in the press release. It just says arriving in 2025, right? Never mind, it does say arrival early next year. All right, so we're pulling up the current Pilot here versus the outline of this drawing. It's a render of some sort of the next-gen Passport. Just because this looks a little bit more rounded, a little bit more bulbous, doesn't mean the Passport won't be. All right, it all comes down to aspect ratios and perspective, all that stuff. So just keep that in mind. I do think the Passport is going to look very much like this from the front, but maybe it's just this bottom portion. Maybe they take these little winglets here on the side, this lower grille, and again, look at the honeycomb thing I was mentioning earlier. All right, so we have it down here. We have it up here. It's just bigger, right? And then we have this new version of it, a little bit more blocky, seemingly, here on the Passport. So the mirrors also look new. These mirrors here, these are the parts bin from Honda. Will we have a little bit more seductive mirrors here on the Passport? I don't know. This could just be maybe how the concept looks. I hope not, though. I hope not. We have some roof rails here at the top, but there's just no more details to get from this. And there's another vehicle kind of reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of some of the Jeep's front ends, and that's not a bad thing. If they're going straight for the Grand Cherokees and the Cherokees, they're good-looking vehicles in my opinion. So hopefully, if they go that route-ish, they can stand apart and look just as solid. I don't need my headphones on. We're looking at the interior of the newer Pilot. All right, let's start with the screen. Everyone roasts the Pilot for having a tiny screen in a huge vehicle, and the Accord has a 12-inch screen, and this is, I think, a 9-inch screen, and the base screen on this is an 8-inch screen. All right, I want them to keep this, the climate control, the triple knobs. I think this is proven to be successful. From an enthusiast aspect, as well as from aesthetics aspect and functionality aspect. It's bang on. It's perfect. All right. They will just put a bigger screen here. I expect this interior to look very similar. Now, this is a Honda Pilot Elite. Yeah, the Passport Trailsport is going to, they'll have orange stitching and a different type of interior. But I don't expect that much to change here. Again, the A-pillar is going to be raked the same as what we see in the Pilot based off of the teaser images that we've had of it in camouflage, right? So will we have these push buttons once again? That seems to be a Honda staple, so they're probably not going to get away from it. It's going to be similar to this, especially the climate control, the screen right there. The Honda, this is going to be the same steering wheel in the Passport, almost guaranteed. This area might change a little bit, but we'll see how. A lot of people are asking for this sort of controls to be brought up to the old school like column shifter to free this up for more space. All right. I've been seeing that in the comments lately. We'll see if Honda does that. I highly doubt it, even though Hyundai's been doing it. And I think a lot of people have been very happy about it. I just drove the new GMC Acadia, and that has more of the column style drive select that Mercedes-Benz have had for a long time. And then, like I said, it frees up this area for more functional space. We will see a more capable Passport. There's no doubt about it. How much they want to put in nice shocks and lifted suspension. We'll see how far they want to go with underbody protection with skid plates, things like that, and roof racks, all that good stuff. I'm excited to see what they come out with. Engine. It's almost guaranteed it's going to have a 3.5 liter V6 and probably the new double overhead cam one that we see in the new Pilot. With around 280 horsepower or so. And I think a lot of people are going to be happy about that. With the 4Runner, for example, I know the 4Runner's body on frame and made in Japan, but hear me out. All right. The 4Runner going to the turbo 4-cylinder, which Tacoma fans aren't super crazy about. People are going to miss the V6. With a V6, they're few and far between right now. You're getting less and less options. So Honda's going to have, hopefully, the 10-speed auto in here to accompany that V6, because the 9-speed lets me down. That 9-speed ZF, it's not terrible, but their 10-speed auto that's built in-house from Honda is a better transmission. We see that on the Pilot. You see it on the Odyssey. You see it in the MDX. Only the Ridgeline and this Passport still have the 9-speed auto. So it's almost guaranteed that ZF is going to be dropped, and they're going to adopt the 10-speed auto here that we see in other Honda and Acura products. So I really am looking forward to the 10-speed auto on this. I'm looking forward to the new design. And that's the thing with the current Passport. I think the design is just a little too soft. Yes, they've tried to make it more macho with the TrailSport especially. It doesn't look bad. It still just looks like a mall crawling crossover, in my opinion. There's nothing hardy about it from the looks department. Again, it's just very vanilla, very blah. Hopefully they don't go the route of the Accord with its vanilla styling, but they won't. The Accord was designed in Japan. I'm almost positive that this TrailSport will be, or should I say Passport in general, will be designed in North America for North America. Where the Accord, I don't know, it seems to be a more of a legacy designed in Japan product. That allows me to hype it up a little bit because I know Honda's been hearing customer feedback about the Passport, and we want a little bit more rough and tumble looking, more macho looking front end. Heck, the Acadia that I drove yesterday had a more macho looking front end. That's a 3-row family hauler. And what's exciting to me is the new Passport will also bring in some design cues in theory for the new Ridgeline. It would make sense for me that Honda would try to keep those two designs as similar as possible. You have a truck off-roading vehicle, and then you have an SUV off-roading vehicle. Let's keep them looking the same. Look how similar-ish the 4Runner and the Tacoma look, right? So maybe Honda tries it, or Honda probably will do the same thing, because look at the current Ridgeline and the current Passport and then the previous Pilot and even the Odyssey to some extent. They all look so similar up front. I think this will be, once we get the full design, this will be a very good indicator of where the Ridgeline will go. And that's the thing. I want to love the Ridgeline. I know I'm kind of rambling at this point. I want the Ridgeline to just look better, and I think if the Ridgeline just looked better, it would get so many more buyers. The pickup truck market for the midsize and the small pickup trucks is still hot. But what's leaving Honda a little bit behind the competition is the lack of hybrids on the large platform vehicles. And I'm not going to go too much into this because I covered this in a video recently when I discussed the Prelude. The Prelude will be coming out, ushering in a new generation of hybrid technology for Honda, probably in 2026 or 2027 timeframe. After then, we start seeing hybrids in Honda's large platform vehicles like the Odyssey, the Pilot, the Ridgeline, and the Passport. So it'll debut with the V6, no hybrid, but don't be surprised. And actually, I would expect Honda to introduce hybrids into this in the coming years. Just you're going to have to be waiting. And what will that do to its off-road capability? Well, we know this has mechanical all-wheel drive. Their iVTM4, aka super handling all-wheel drive, if you're an Acura fan. When this goes hybrid or offers a hybrid powertrain, it will no longer have mechanical all-wheel drive. And instead, they're going to have an e-axle in the back. It could just be one motor. But here's the thing. Honda has showed off in the past with their MDX Sport Hybrid that they've had individual motors for true torque vectoring for the rear wheels. And I think that's what Honda will do for these large platform vehicles. Their mass market vehicles like the CR-V and the Civic, they'll just have a single e-axle in the back to provide all-wheel drive and not that much power. But I think they'll be able to come out with some really cool torque vectoring hybrid motor technology to give it similar chops off-road to what we have with the mechanical linkage, and maybe in some ways better. Maybe not be able to provide all the power that a V6 with mechanical linkage to the back can provide, but it might be able to provide maybe better torque distribution and better torque vectoring compared to Honda's already excellent iVTM4 super handling all-wheel drive. So that was a very long-winded video with just a few teasers in today's press release from Honda. Expect more by the end of the year. Like I said, probably LA Auto Show would be my guess if it's going to be revealed by the end of the year. Again, that's not confirmed by Honda. That's just my expectations because it will be launching early 2025. Expect it to look very Pilot-y from the side, maybe from the back as well, but from the front, the Passport's getting its own identity that will probably also be carried over to the Ridgeline in some extent. And the interior, look for it to be, well, very similar to this. Just maybe a little bit more rugged looking. That would be my guess. I'm excited for the new Passport. I'm excited for it to shed its minivan soft styling and really be a true contender against something like a 4Runner. Even though it's not body on frame, again, people are going to go bonkers that it'll still have a V6. And I think the market still wants that. Smash the like button if you haven't. I would appreciate that. And make sure you subscribe for more Honda updates. We will get an Odyssey refresh. Honda and I have been talking about having one for the family as a long-term review sample. That would be fantastic with the refreshed Odyssey, which is supposed to be happening, I think, this fall. But stay tuned for that. And I'll also be driving the new Civic Hybrid hatchback in September. So make sure you subscribe for all that goodness. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Peace.